Hello, my honeys. How are you? This is Tamara, the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome. Welcome to this Halloween, another Halloween meeting, because this is the season. I even got my nails done. Thank you to my nail tech, Marcy. She is amazing. And if you are in Santa Fe ever, I'll let you know where she is, because you'll only be visiting, right? No, I think Marseille could use more clients always, as we all can. So you all, I'll ask her if I can give her info out if people do ask um, where she is. But aren't these amazing? They're like bloody tips. So tis the season. This particular reading, you all, I am testing out, showing you the cards as I shuffle. So you all let me know, because I'm always experimenting with these new streaming platforms. I'm trying to find my jam. I'm trying to find my jam. So, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support, you all. I really have to, I'm going to do a live later on tonight, because I really love connecting with my Black doves here. So, if you are new here, my name is Kamara. I am a psychic medium, as well as I tend to channel my messages along with the tarot. So it's kind of like a special combination. One moment. So yeah, getting back to, I had to pause for a second. Getting back to today's reading, which is the zombies you escaped. And so what we're going to be covering in this reading is who or what was once feeding off of you. Okay. So that's very serious. And then what helped you finally break free? What still tries to rise from the grave? And then we're going to talk about the liberated version of you, because we know you are completely liberated. But we're keeping in touch with our shadowy themes right now. So welcome, my honeys. Let's start off with our opening prayer, and then we'll go ahead and get started. This is going to be three groups. So I have I have some I was looking, I'm like, what's going to represent the groups? I'll share them with you in a minute, but they're going to be my flower essences that I have. So I'll show those to you in a few seconds. But let's get to the opening prayer. Beloved Mother of waters, ancestors of light, I open this space in truth, clarity, and love. May only that which is healing and in alignment speak through me. Let my words be guided by wisdom, my sight by spirit, and my heart remain open in peace. May all those who have come to this reading seeking guidance from spirit, and our spirit guides who sit at the feet of spirit, be protected in their quest to be completely healed, whole, and free. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Some people said they liked my chime. They actually come in elements like water, fire, earth. They're really cool. I use them a lot. So, my honeys, welcome to this reading. Now, let's get to what we're going to use for the. Sorry, I'm like looking to expand my screen here. What we're going to be using to as our groups. Okay, so group number one is going to be flower essence called Faith and Courage. So that'll be group number one. Maybe I should put it like that. Yeah. Still working out my directions. That's group number one. Group number two is going to be the, do I just put it this way? I'm like looking at my directions. Group number two is going to be the constellations, 27 constellations, flower essences. So I'll put that there. And then group number three is going to be soul purpose. Soul purpose, flower essence. Okay. So take a moment. Bear with me, you all. I'm getting these camera directions right. But so take a moment to decide what group resonates with you. The timestamps are going to be in the comments. Okay. So you can choose by timestamp numbers. You can choose by the flower essences. Again, faith and courage, 27 constellations, and soul purpose. Okay. All right, my honeys. Let's move to group number one. Hello, my honeys. It's Kamara, the Black Dove Oracle. Welcome to your reading group number one. A quick mention, I am starting a membership right here on this channel for all of my followers. So if you want to join, the price is pretty, affordable, I think, but you all let me know. Hit me up and let me know. But what I plan to do in this membership is to give you some exclusive readings that will talk a little bit more about how to infuse magic in your life, if that's something you want to do. And we're also going to do some readings, and they're going to be just for my black doves. Okay. So, my honeys, take a moment if you want to join that membership. You're totally welcomed. If you have questions about what it includes, let me know. All right, group number one. Let's start with, what were the zombies you escaped? Group number one. So let's start with an opening card. This card is coming from the Gateway of Light activation deck. It's a very beautiful deck, actually. So let's see what the opening message is for you. And then we're going to move into those questions. I hope you all are doing well. We have a couple of cards came out. So we have Light Source. It says, all encompassing love, unconditional acceptance, serenity. What's kind of interesting right away is, I think this one, your group, is going to be about a relationship zombie. The second one was angelic frequency. Angels are here. You are safe. Potent connection. Actually, there's Shambhala initiations. There's another one. Retreating to recharge, trusting the process, Dharma. So group number one, immediately I think of the zombie. What was feeding off of you was a love relationship, or one that you thought was love. But during this, we'll talk more about it, but the angels came in to assist you. I think this was a relationship where you received some very powerful protection from your angels. Some of you work with Archangel Michael. Some of you might work with some of the other archangels, Zachiel or Uriel. That's coming up for me. In the end, what happened, group number one, was that, Spirit is saying you took time to recharge from this. Or maybe that's going to be a message for you to take time to recharge from this zombie run, because really, quite literally, I think some of you uh, barely escaped this person, this personality type, you know. Spirit is saying you're a very magnetic person, group number one. People really like your ambition, they like your charm, they like how you're just very relatable, you know. And I think that was how this person, yeah, we have a King of Pentacles in reverse coming out. See that when King of Pentacles is in reverse, this is someone who is always in a state of lack. This is someone who, um, unfortunately, because they're a king, regardless of being in reverse or upright, when a king is in reverse, though, it's almost like they use their money for power. You know, the King of Pentacles can use their money to manipulate people, they can use their money to exert their power. And so, group number one, this upside down King of Pentacles, this was someone who always seemed to make it, Spirit is saying, they made it a big deal that they would buy you something, like really for real. Like if they took you out to eat, it was like, oh, well, I did buy dinner tonight. Like they kind of made statements like that, like everything in which they would use their money for was something you needed to acknowledge. Maybe they wanted some favors in return. I mean, you were like, I'm hearing that Erica Badu song. Well, hold up, partner, listen, I ain't no cheap thrill. And I think you got really offended by this person's attitude towards giving you things. They were definitely not generous, whoever this was. This is someone who they seem young to me too, so you all let me know. But if this is a young person and you don't feel like you're beyond your 30s, this was somebody you dated a while ago. So this person may be coming back from the grave. We're going to find out. But, I think what else, Spirit? This person is young. They kind of have like a brown hair. They might even be like Latinx, like that kind of look, and I'm not saying that it is for everybody, but this is someone very good looking, very like put together. Like their hair, it was always, this is someone who went to the barber maybe like weekly. They were very coiffed. Their hair was done right. This might have even been someone's, Spirit is saying, that got their nails done. Like if they were in the masculine, they were very, how do I want to say, put together. If you got in their car, there was no eating in the car. One of those kind of folks. You can't eat in my car. You can't spill anything in my car. Their car always looked very clean, waxed. I mean, there were parts of you, group number one, that was like, when do they have time to do all this? you know, but they were very put together. Their image meant a lot to them. What else, Spirit? This is definitely someone who I think for many of you, um, they caused you. We have the Four of Swords coming out, and then we have the Ten of Wands. It was a lot of work to be with this person. I'm just going to tell you, it was a lot of work to be with this person. Let me set this up so that you can see this. I think you felt exhausted after hanging out with this person. There was so much in their world that they felt like they needed to control. Yeah. I mean, they are facing in the direction in which they came out. So we have Four of Swords in reverse. We have Ten of Wands. So I think with this person, group number one, I think you were always a little confused about why did they like you? Because you seem to be the polar opposite of what they desired. You weren't clean enough. You didn't dress the way they wanted you to dress. This person had a lot of complaints for you. Was it like that in the beginning? I don't think so. I think this person, they may have led with how attracted they were to you, or you know, they may have led in a way where I think they were showing up the way they are, but I think you were really wowed by them. I mean, they look like someone who has their shit together, like they dressed well. They drove a nice car. They might have lived in a nice part of town, even. So there was something about this person that impressed you in right away. Like it was something about this person that um, I don't know. It really impressed you that they wanted to date you, that they wanted to hang out with you. Maybe you thought you weren't in their league. Hmm, that could have been that could have been something. Let's see. Tell me more about this person's spirit, this zombie. Yeah, they did have a little bit of a complex. They seem to be well, it says here, cruelty, using your power to control people. So again, that is what I would say they were like. Um, in the end, you were thinking this person's pretty mean. Like there's even if they weren't mean towards you, they were mean towards other people, which you kind of knew that was coming. You know what I mean? Like eventually they would be mean to you, which they did. But in the beginning, you would see things that were kind of like a red flag, like, oh, they talk to the waiter this way, or oh, we can't go to a cafe without them going off on the barista. Like there were things like that. And I think that's always a clear red sign when people don't treat service service professionals in a respectful way. So I think this person too, they came out as a negative visionary, meaning their ideas, their creativity, they always seem to revolve everything around money. Everything was for sale for them. All their advice, even the things that they just kind of knew that they could tell someone, they would charge someone for. So this is this person, like they were very materialistic. They were someone who they only value the coin. Yeah, and in many ways, they were like a bully. That was their energy. So whenever you tried to defend yourself or just stating something you believed, they always seemed to want to challenge you. And in that way, it just started to feed off of your energy. I think every time that you were in their presence, you had to kind of brace yourself for some kind of criticism, for some kind of thing that you might have said or done wrong. I really began to feel like you were walking on eggshells around this person. Hmm. So, what helped you break free? Because I think that's important for us to look at group number one. What did help you break free? Because this person was a little bit of a number, you know? And this might have been like again, I think this was a relationship that happened when you were young, or if you are young, this is like happening as one of your first relationships. A relationship that spirit wanted to teach you. No, this is not love. This is not what you need to accept from someone just because you feel like they're successful or they're trying to say they're successful. It wasn't it was a kind of a zombie situation where literally they were sucking everything that was good, everything you thought was good and exciting out of you. So tell us, spirit, what happened? I think, the first thing that happened for your liberation, for how you got away from this person, group number one, was that you had to stop being emotionally connected to this person. You've got the Queen of Cups in reverse. First thing you had to do is detangle yourself emotionally. And Spirit says that might have taken some time because maybe there was a part of you that really wanted a new experience with someone who was different, someone who was successful, maybe even in your mind mature. But what you got instead is someone who showed up in a particular kind of way, just in a way that didn't match what you actually wanted. Not, it didn't match what you were seeking. Group number one. What else did you have to do to detangle yourself or break free of this zombie? Okay, that fell on the floor. So let me get it because that means Spirit wants you to pay attention to this one. Ooh, okay, I got to cover this maybe. I don't know if I got to, but I will just in case. Um, you got the star. This person, for some of you, for many of you, this person was jealous of you. That's interesting. I don't think they would have ever let you know. But what you had to do was to start choosing yourself because when you're in star energy, that means you're choosing yourself. When you're in star energy, you're deciding to focus on yourself, the things that make you happy, because the things that make you happy are ultimately going to be the things that contribute to your glow up. So you had to break free so that you could be in the energy you've always wanted to be. Because I think some of you, um, when you met this person, you were rising. When you met this person, you may have been just starting a business. When you met this person, you were rising in some kind of way. And right when you met them, stagnant. It was almost like your path just stopped, group number one. And so, what you had to do to break free of them was you had to start paying attention to your own life, paying attention to your own purpose, your own dreams. Very interesting. Yeah, because I think in this relationship with the high priestess upside down, it was continuously, this person, this zombie was really continuously challenging your intuition because that's what the high priestess is. When she's in reverse, she's not trusting herself. She's not trusting what she hears. She's not trusting what she feels. She's definitely not trusting what she knows. And this person did all they could to put you out of visibility. There was something there about this person, even like low key, subtly interfering with your work. You know, if you had something important going on, either they would try to distract you from it or they would try to downplay any kind of victories that you had. You know, that's that sun in reverse. And again, I saw the Knight of Wands, Knight of Brooms in this deck, but Knight of Wands keeps coming out. This is someone who was very self consumed. And if you weren't consumed with them, if you weren't giving them the compliments, if you weren't bowing down to their life, you were subpar. You know, you weren't the partner they needed. Very interesting. This person also could have been, Spirit is saying this is only for a few of you, but this person could have been actually, they were like a bully, meaning like, you know, and we're going to be careful with this, but they may have bullied you into being intimate when you didn't want to be. And, you know, some people would say, you know, that's SA, could be. But for some of you, you felt like it was more manipulation. So that's for some of you, not maybe not for all of you, but it's still interesting, right? That this person, they used their actuality in a way that was very manipulative and controlling. So, I mean, you had to break away and break free of that. Spirit said in general, you just had to learn how to trust what you were seeing about this person, not what everybody else was saying, because that's another thing Spirit is saying right now. There, when you got together with this person, everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're dating this person? Oh my God, I would never break up with them. Oh my, just give them a chance. They're so rich and so good looking." And you know, you were hearing so much from the peanut gallery on why people wanted you to stay with this person, which really could have contributed to why you stayed as long as you did. For some of you, you're kind of in your head about, why did I stay with this person? They were not good for me. They weren't kind. They weren't generous. Like, why was I with this person? For a lot of you, it was the people around you. For some of you, not all of you, your family was like, oh my God, I hope you guys get married. They're so awesome. What a catch, like, and I think they weren't seeing what you were seeing, group number one. And, generally that's the case, right? People aren't spending all their time with this person. And this person could be very charming and charismatic around other people, right? If you did introduce them to your family was like, oh my God, I don't see anything wrong with them. But the whole time you started to not have anyone to talk to about the things you were experiencing with this person. Very interesting. Okay, so how's this person still trying to come through? Because it was kind of interesting in the beginning of the reading. I was all like, are they still trying to be in your energy? I think you walked away from this person, but are they trying to come back through the grave? Are they trying to rise from the dead? Let's see. Because Spirit is saying in some way they might be trying to rise from the dead. That's interesting. Yeah, this person, you all, this person might be trying to pray their way back or do some kind of magical thing to get back into your energy. Spirit is also saying this is a time for you to be very courageous, because if it did take a lot for you to walk away from this person, Spirit is saying do not give this person even an inch. Meaning, if they like something that you have on social media, ignore it. If they try to text you or call you, ignore it. Because Spirit is saying that this person is trying to get back into your energy. They probably realized how good they had it with you, right? How good, how, at the time you were with them, how obedient you were. That was their word, obedient. But Spirit says it was more like you were cooperative. You were just like a very kind person who tried to give this person the benefit of the doubt. What else, Spirit? Yeah, I think this Spirit wants you to remember that this relationship had you trying to look happy on the outside while you were terribly, terribly sad on the inside. And Spirit is saying, remember this cup. This is not the cup that's really going to nourish you. This is not that cup. Okay. So, what about life going forward? Because you've done the thing, you chose yourself. And that is how I want to say paramount to all of this reading is like, how are you recovering in your life? What's coming towards you? Let me see. Do I have. Sorry, I have this one deck way back here. Because I think there's a blessing coming in for you, group number one. Once all the healing is said and done, a blessing's coming towards you, because your guides, they recognize that you're a very loving person, very kind. You're someone who just got caught up with someone who was, kind of like narcissistic in their presentation. And it's time now for you to know that Spirit wants you to be a free spirit. Spirit wants you to rebel against all of the structures that are trying to get you to stay small and in a box to cooperate with whoever you're dating. Spirit says it's in your best interest to be free, authentic, because that's going to bring in your person, your real person, not someone who's controlling, not someone who wants you as, for some of you, this person just thought of you as eye candy. I mean, you're good looking yourself, you got a lot going on for you, but they wanted you to not be who you are. And Spirit is saying here, the lover is coming towards you, someone who's a very cosmic, beautiful, otherworldly, I'm hearing, kind of person. It's still going to be someone that you're highly impressed with, someone that you're really going to be like, wow, but this person is different than this zombie because they're very respectful. They're very interested in you, group number one. In fact, Spirit wants me to give you a clue with the number cards. What numbers will you be seeing when you're close to meeting this person? If you haven't yet, Spirit said some of you have met someone, but it may not be in a romantic phase yet. It's getting ready to go there. But for many of you, what are they going to be seeing? How are they going to know when they met? Ooh, 555. 555, you all. And Spirit is saying it's you're going to meet this person as part of your transformational process because I think some of you are leaving behind patterns that maybe your mom, your sister, or anyone in your family. I don't know why I was hearing feminine. There's a pattern in your family. This is for some of you where the women don't seem to make good choices in men if they're, in a heterosexual relationship. But, actually Spirit is saying it doesn't even matter because they still, no matter what, they just don't seem to make good choices in partners. And you're beginning to see it's because maybe there's some people in your family that look at survival and safety as money, and Spirit is saying here, you're going to meet this person when you're creating your own opportunities. You might be doing really good in business by the time you meet this person. There's some kind of opportunity that will come up. And it says here that there's just going to be some circumstance when you meet this person. Um, you will be in a really good, strong success run. You're going to be feeling very good about life. I mean, Spirit is saying that you may even think, "Oh, at least my business is going well. At least I'm making money and doing the things I want to do with my dreams." And that's when you're going to meet this person. That is when you're going to meet this new person. And it's just going to liberate you from what you thought relationships needed to be to what something that you really actually want. So, group number one, that's what I have for you in terms of this zombie business because you did escape. And I think this is an escape that Spirit wants you to really uh, be grateful to yourself for because you really did choose yourself. And Spirit is saying when this happens, you just receive a lot of blessings. When you stay in situations that are not for you, then you'll notice your blessings just don't come in the way that you're used to them coming. But when you choose yourself, even if it feels like, oh, maybe I will be lonely or I don't have anyone to go to the Halloween party with. Guess what? You choose yourself, you go to the Halloween party, and you meet someone there. You know what I'm saying? So it's something like that. Spirit is saying you're going to get rewards for choosing yourself, group number one. So if you resonated with this reading at group number one, please put 5555 in the comments because that lets me know that you resonated with group number one. If you have not subscribed to my channel, here's your invitation to subscribe to my channel. I have a membership that's opening, and you're going to have exclusive readings there for my membership. And, we will be having good lives together, everything. So I hope that you will join me. If this is where we break, thank you so much for joining me in this reading, and I will hope to see you again soon. Thank you, my honeys. Hello, group number two. Let's clear the energies. Welcome, group number two, to your reading on the zombies you escaped. Group number one, very interesting. There is no real kind of theme for each group, but group number one was about a relationship. So we're going to see group number two. We don't, like I said, there's no designs on each one of these groups when it comes to your zombies. We just know that you had some. Okay. So I hope you all are doing well. I want to let you know that my membership is open. I will be putting up my first members only reading. I hope you will join me there. We plan to have member only lives so we could talk about things we need to really talk about. Okay. Okay, group number 2. Let's go to the opening card. Exactly what was this zombie situation about? Let's see. These cards kind of stick together. Maybe I could do them in a different way. Maybe I don't use them enough. These are the light activation cards. So here's what I have. It says Emerald Tablet Activation, Cosmic Ordering, Divine Alchemy, Conscious Manifestation. You know what I'm going to say here, group number 2, is that the zombies you escaped were trying to interfere with your spiritual destiny. So you may have been under spiritual attack, group number 2, with these zombies. I feel like I just want to make it straight, right? Okay, there we go. Yeah, the green emerald tablet, I think, let me read on this one because I don't feel like I right away know all of the details of the green emerald tablet. I kind of feel like it's almost akashic in many ways. You know what I mean? Like it's a tablet that's letting you know about your destiny. Are these in? Okay. A, B, C, D, E. There we go. I'm like, sometimes these like little booklets, you're like, is it in alphabetical order? Is it by the numbers? You know, what are we doing? So it says here that the emerald tablet is one of the most celebrated of the Hermetic texts. And it's a series of sacred Egyptian and Greek texts from the 2nd century or earlier. They form the basis of a spiritual tradition that brings together science, spirituality through the investigations of the cosmos and the nature. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. I think your message, when you get this card, it says you are being called to remember the gifts you are carrying from previous lifetimes. Okay, that makes sense. Even if you don't always understand how to express them, they're a part of you that knows that you hold great power within. So there's a part of you that knows that you hold great power within. That's what I needed to hear. So this green emerald tablet for you all in group number 2, it represents the knowledge and the wisdom that was coming from spirit, coming from God that you were born with. Some of you are very powerful people, which is why Spirit was saying that this zombie had to do with trying to attach to your power or try to do some kind of alchemy with your power, like trying to maybe even destiny swap with you. I'm hearing that strongly. Like this zombie wanted to destiny swap with you, meaning they wanted to take your life and live your life while you take their trashy life, their garbage life, and live theirs. Yeah. You know, there's people out there who will try, because Spirit is saying right now, they will try with their magic to destiny swap, to try to take what's yours. But Spirit says because it came in the form of the emerald tablet, you've got to understand this knowledge and this wisdom and your power, it's been with you over lifetimes. You know, this is not something that can easily be given away. You would have to, and Spirit says, you should listen to this part. You would have to give your power away in order for someone to interfere with it, group number 2. So I think the kind of magic this person was using was the kind that would try to convince you that your powers are no good, that you should give it to them. So that was kind of the magic they were using, was trying to get into your mind, trying to create doubt in your mind, trying to have you not be as confident as as you are. Because I think for many of you, when you're connected to I keep calling it the green, but the green emerald tablet to me is about a guaranteed activation somewhere in your life, group number 2. If it hasn't happened already, it's getting ready to happen, that you're going to wake up to your powers. Because Spirit says people with the emerald tablet activation, your powers come online later. And it's very much for a specific reason. Even though you're born with your powers, you may not be aware of them right away, especially in your younger years. And Spirit is saying it's specifically because these powers are so, how do I want to say, potent. They're gifts directly from God, that you have to be in the right frame of mind, the right frame of heart, to even utilize them correctly. Because access too soon to these kind of powers could have you using your gifts in the wrong way, which Spirit is saying this is probably why you were targeted by this zombie. Uh-huh. Because they liked where you were going. We have the chariot here. They could see where you were going. They could see your path. This zombie probably had some kind of similar gifts as you. But like Spirit just said right now, those gifts, when they're given or when somebody awakens to them too soon, they could misuse those gifts. And Spirit is saying, they may have been misusing their gifts for quite some time. Yeah. And what they had to do when they met you was to convince you that it was okay to give up your gifts. Maybe these are gifts you don't want. Yeah. Like this is that kind of person who would, if you thought, let's just do an example. For some of you, you may have potent clairvoyant gifts, meaning you can see things. But you may have been born into a very religious family who would say those gifts are demonic. And so maybe that was always in the back of your mind, like, oh, I'm not sure what I'm communicating with, or I'm not sure if my powers are good. This person would come along and say, you know what, you're right. I mean, I think that you don't want to communicate with the wrong things. Like this person would try to further instigate that your powers were not good. They're not of God. Like they would try to reinforce that narrative in order for you to give up the things that God wanted you to have. Not everyone is meant to use their gifts to be on YouTube and read cards or channel messages. Some of you are meant to use your gifts as a preacher or a priest or a highly religious person. Maybe you were meant to help people through prayer. Maybe your insight was to help people connect with lost loved ones, like a medium. So you have a lot of gifts, and this person wanted you to disavow them, wanted you to reject the gifts that God gave you by having you think that you were in connection with something that wasn't right. So, this person spent a lot of time. We have the strength card here. They spent a lot of time trying to make you insecure about your gifts, your powers. This was that kind of zombie, very manipulative, very much not someone you can trust. Again, we have a king of swords now. I think group number 1 had a king of pentacles. You have a king of swords in reverse. This is a tricky zombie, group number 2, because they're very intelligent. They could be very smart, but they're very logic oriented. At least that's what they wanted to show you. So when they presented themselves as a very smart, intelligent person, that's how they convinced you there's no such things. For some of you, they were always like, there's no such thing as those gifts. Whatever you're seeing is just in your imagination. Maybe you should take medication. Like they were that person. And what began to happen is that you slowly begin to doubt yourself. Just even in general, it didn't even have to be a psychic gift. You were just thinking in your mind, maybe I'm not all there. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I need to go to the doctor. And that would have been a choice that was up to you. This reading is never going to tell you about when you should seek help. But this was a person who really laid that out as a possibility that you may not be in your right mind. That's very interesting. Okay. So they were highly manipulative, this particular zombie. Okay. Um, what else about this zombie before we go into? Yeah, again, this is interesting. They came out as a bully in reverse. They really tried to connect to your fears and amplify them. Even if you had one doubt, they would take that doubt and try to instill it inside of you. They really didn't like how devoted you were to spirit. Some of you are very close to God, very devoted. And they realized that they had to get you some other way because you do listen to God, you do listen to spirit. And I think what began to happen, because we're getting into how you broke free, is that you started to pray more. You started to meditate more. You started to cleanse yourself spiritually. And in the end, you even exorcised that person. You had to exorcise that person's voice from out of your head, group number 2, because they were very manipulative. This is someone in a very scary way. You just don't want anything to do with them. And this is where you had to leave, you had to really extract, because they got in your head somehow. And you had to extract what you were, that voice of theirs in your head. Yeah, that is how you ended up breaking free. Anything else? Spirit says there might be one more card here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For some of you, you had to see, because I was wondering who did this for you. It might have been someone who was spiritual that you went to. You may have went to an indigenous healer, some of you, to have some work done. Like I'm in New Mexico, but so I often think of like I think of Olympia, like that's kind of like part of Mexican culture. But you might have went to an indigenous healer as well, and they may have done some work on you to kind of cleanse your aura. So you may have gone to a healer, even someone who did Reiki, right? Energy work. You might have gone to that person. You had some assistance, and I think spirit led you to that person. So for some of you, spirit is saying for some of you who are listening to this right now, maybe you haven't done that yet, but you feel like you need to. So this would be your confirmation that you need to do a spiritual cleansing, spiritual bath, go to a healer. Okay, group number 2. Is this person still trying to come from the grave? I don't think they are. But let's see. Let's double check. No, again, King of Swords came out here, as well as King of Wands in reverse. So you all, Spirit is just saying you do need to cleanse their energy off of you. There's something about their energy still being around. For some of you, not all of you, but for some of you, you're still attracted to this person. You may still have romantic thoughts about them, and that's them being in your head, not necessarily, but but there's something like spirit is saying, oh yeah, spirit is saying you need to cut cords with this person. They may have corded to you energetically, and you need to imagine as you do your spiritual bath, as you get the cleansing, all the cords that are connected to them, you imagine from head to toe, front to back, that these cords are broken. You're imagining you have scissors or a machete, and you're chopping away at the cords that this person has put on you. But spirit says a practitioner could help you with that, some kind of practitioner. Okay. um let's get to your liberated self, because we don't want this to all be scary and deep, but spirit is saying here that there is a little bit more work for you to do, group number 2, in terms of detangling yourself from this person. Yeah. Your ancestors also want to help you. We got the tree here. So your ancestors are saying that they could help you bring in balance. You have someone in the other world that really wants to help you, like a grandmother, grandparent kind of figure, who wants to help you, who's giving you the guidance. They might even be telling you who to go to for that cleansing. Very interesting. They have some information for you. Um, what else about your liberation? Yeah. Um, you are going to have to learn a few things, group number 2. You're going to have to learn how to protect yourself. You're going to have to learn how to walk away from distractions, especially people like this, because unfortunately, Spirit is saying you have some really beautiful gifts that a lot of people would like to have. So you need to, first of all, you kind of need to study, like, how do you protect yourself? For some of you, this is, I don't know why I'm saying this book is the Bible. For some of you, you're religious in this group. So for some of you, there's metaphysical ways of working with the Bible, um, but they're saying that's going to help you set yourself free. You know, it's going to help you, because you see a little arm here. It's going to help you stop getting distracted by these kinds of energies, of these kinds of people. So last few cards. Oh, that came out right away. I was like, what clue? What are you looking for? What advice, the last pieces of advice Spirit has for you? Yeah, swift action. You have 0808. So this is a number for you all, but the description is what you really need to pay attention to. It says wealth, empathy, promises, commitments, affection, inner strength, auspicious outcomes. But it's mainly saying swift action. So you need to take the time to do something to cleanse yourself of this zombie's energy. So and right after you do that, Spirit is saying you're going to experience, but blocks are going to dissolve to your finances. Some of you have been like, when you were around this person, your finances were kind of wobbly. That's going to open up doors to your finances, to opportunities. If your business was suffering, or your work trajectory was suffering, you're going to see your path open. So 0808, you may see a combination of those numbers. I want you to put this in the comments that this is you, 0808 from group number 2. Okay, my honeys. Wow. That was a narrow escape from this zombie. And this zombie is still trying to hang on. So don't forget, because Spirit's asking me to mention it one more time. Do not forget to clear yourself of energetic cords. Take some kind of spiritual bath, spiritual prayers. I'm really hearing a spiritual bath. And if you don't know how to do any of those things, go to a practitioner that you trust, that can clear away these energies. Okay, my honeys? Because group number 2, wow. Yeah, you had the 27 constellations. Yeah, it says portal to the stars. So there is something there about you getting cleansed and opening up new doors for yourself. Doors, portals, same thing. So if you resonated with this group number 2, can you give it a thumbs up? I have a membership that's opening, and if you want to check that out, there's more information on the YouTube website under I believe it's under the community tab. And I'll be letting people know more about how to join. I think I'll have a link in the description box. I'm going to write that down to make sure I do. And my honeys, know that you're all well and all good. Spirit is saying, just wants to remind you, this is not doom and gloom. All you need to do is the last bit of cleanse to make sure this person's energy is fully gone. And you're such a powerful person, that's not gonna be a lifelong thing. You're just gonna have to, one, learn how to protect yourself, two, cleanse yourself of any remaining negative energy so that you can move on with life. And make sure you study. I'm really getting spiritual texts here. So something like a Bible, something like other kind of spiritual texts. It could be the Bhagavad Gita. It could be some Buddhist texts, like whatever text resonates with you. There's something in there for you in terms of managing your gifts and your power. Okay, group number 2. So don't forget to put 0808 in the comments if this resonated with you. And my honeys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I'd love to stay connected. Otherwise, until the next time, group number 2, take care. We're clearing the air right now. Welcome group number 3. Thank you. Welcome group number 3 to your reading, The Zombies. You escaped. Group 1 and 2, pretty deep. So we're going to continue on group number 3. Just quick housekeeping announcement. My membership is open. You will find members only lives are going to be happening there, member only readings. So check it out. Group number 3, we're starting with the opening card from the light activation deck. It says Octurian light codes, evolutionary downloads, recalling power, future thinking. So this zombie for you, group number 3, it really tried to come through and do something around your sense of power with yourself. These light codes and your future thinking, some of you have a very strong crown chakra. Like you may even be an air sign like Gemini. What is that? Aquarius, Libra. You don't have to be, but there's something about your crown chakra being very activated, very powerful. So who was trying to get into your energy, group number 3? There's something about these light codes that are really, if you don't work with light codes, you may want to look them up on YouTube. But for some of you, this is what's really been helping you to escape the zombies. Spirit says using these codes have made you, I'm hearing, invisible to them. That's kind of interesting. Who was this zombie? Who or what was this zombie? Again, something fell on the floor. That means we should pay attention to it. Yeah. Ooh, a Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Spirit's at the bottom of the deck. 2 of Wands. This person, the zombie, who's represented by this Knight of Cups in reverse, because Knight of Cups in reverse, you all, upright, the Knight of Cups is a very slow, deliberate energy. But, when they're in reverse, they could be a little too slow, almost stagnant. This was an energy that really tried to drain you of your energy, of your action energy. Meaning, when you were around this person, for some of you, if this is not a person, I don't know why I'm getting this. For some of you, if this is not a person, this is some kind of substance. Something that in the beginning felt very nurturing, that would help you calm down, would help you feel good. Actually, if this is a substance, it slowed you down completely, especially if it's kind of the, you know what I'm saying, the Mary Jane. If it's the Mary Jane, then it was slowing you way down, like almost making you unmotivated. Now, this could be a person too. Could be a person that likes Mary Jane. You know what I mean? Like, those, that person that you meet that's really into smoking, really into intaking some kind of substance. Um, Spirit is saying it could be for group 3, it's either one of the two. Like you became very caught up in the substance yourself that made you unmotivated, or you met a person that had this problem, this issue, zombie. So, yeah, say more about that spirit, because the bottom of the deck was 2 of Wands. During this time, when you were around this energy, whether it was a person or a substance, you found it very hard to make decisions about where you were going next. It was hard for you to plan or make a goal. So spirit is saying this was what was feeding on your energy, quite literally, because you have the moon child here, in reverse. It was like keeping you from your gifts, keeping you from discovering more aspects of yourself. Group number 3. Yeah. Let's get into this a little bit more. Spirit keeps bringing up that with the Knight of Cups in reverse, especially if this was a substance for you, in the beginning, it was feeling like it was helpful. But over time, it became a zombie for you, it became an enemy for you. So Spirit is saying that it's going to be important. Yeah, look at Samaritan comes out. It's going to be important because the negative aspect is exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. So there was something about this particular zombie, whereas it was kind of like Spirit's bringing up that old child tale called Tar Baby. Like, if you don't know that story, I'll just tell it kind of like a truncated version of it. It's kind of like the Tar Baby story is a bear rabbit story. It's this rabbit who's always learning from life, right? So one day the rabbit's walking down a pathway, and one of rabbit's enemies made a doll out of tar. And if you know tar, it's sticky. It's the stuff that they put on the street when they're repaving the street. When you drive over it, it feels sticky to your tires on your the wheels of your car. It's sticky stuff. So in the fairy tale, Bear Rabbit goes up to the tar baby, sits down, and starts talking, because it looks just like a person, right? And starts talking to this tar baby about everything it's going through. And then it says, thank you so much for listening to me. Can I give you a hug? And then when it hugs the tar baby, it becomes stuck, and it can't detangle itself from the tar baby. And Spirit's reminding me of that, because I think that's what this substance, if it is a substance or a person, it could be both, one or the other. This is a particular kind of zombie, sticks to you, has a very sticky energy. Let's see what else Spirit is saying. Yeah, something very hard to get away from. Now, this is so specific, you all, but I have to show it because it's what, for some of you, this had to do with issues. It may have gotten so serious that you may have had issues. We have the prostitute here. It doesn't exactly mean that you were out in these streets doing that. But what it does speak to is how money became more of an issue during this time. Especially, I'm really getting, for a lot of you, this was a substance, drinking, wacky tobacco, whatever you were doing, because I can't see, I don't know what names I can say on YouTube, but the Mary Jane or some other stronger substance could have had you spending some of your excess money on it. Not, you going to these dispensaries a lot, you can end up spending a lot of money on your habit. Drinking, you could spend a lot of money on your habit. And so Spirit was saying, this was that zombie. It had you in a chokehold. It was really trying to take you and take you out of your light. You see, the child magikal is in reverse. It's trying to utilize your innocence, maybe even some childhood things that caused you a lot of pain. Um, it could have even made you depressed. It could have made you negative. This energy was very dense and heavy. You found yourself more in a negative kind of energy than usual around this substance or around this person. Um, yeah. Let's go to, how did you break free? Because really, how did you break free of this? I mean, for some of you, you may have even had to go into some kind of detox situation. I'm sorry for that, but this is truly what a substance zombie looks like. It takes hold of you, and you may have had to get some outside help for it. For some of you, how did you break free? Wow. Eight of Pentacles. You may have just had to focus on your work more. You may have had to just take your attention away from the substance, give yourself a break. And for some of you, that was enough. Like, you really just had to. For others of you, this was hard work. We've got the 10 of Wands. Like, this was, is it the 10 of Wands? I think, or is it the 9 of Wands? It's the 10 of Wands. It was hard work. No one's going to lie. Spirits, like, we saw you have to literally fight your way out of this connection. And Spirit is saying, it may have felt during that time like I don't even know if I'm gonna make it. Page of Pentacles in reverse. You may have reached rock bottom, group number 3, for real. Like, some of you, not all of you, but some of you may have lost everything. You may have lost a job. You may have lost a housing situation. Things were getting pretty desperate. You may have had to move in with family. There was something about your life. It was telling you, you have to change. Like, life is not, for some of you, you had to do that. Yeah. Is that, I'm trying to remember, was because, sometimes, yeah, we had King of Cups in reverse on this one. I think for many of you, you had to become a King of Swords, regardless of your gender. You had to stick to the facts of what you were dealing with. Like, hey, I might have some kind of substance issue. Like, you had to get factual with yourself, because the King of Swords is able to kind of just block out all the distractions. And this is a person who's masterful of regaining control of themselves. If they've lost it, they can regain it by logic. For some of you, this was about meditation, something. I told you, I think people in this group, there's a crown chakra thing going on. I think it was this group. You have to protect your crown, meaning and it's very synchronistic here, because this king is wearing a crown. You had to protect your crown chakra, meaning you really had to sit with yourself in a very logical way and decide, what were you going to do about this situation. And for many of you, that worked, you know. Are they still trying to come from the grave, Spirit? Is it still trying to come from the grave? How would I know? Hold on. Let's see. Is this still trying to come? When I say come from the graves, is that energy still around you? Should you be concerned? Um, you got the death card, but it's in reverse. So that's making me feel like not completely have you rid yourself of this zombie. You've done a lot of change. You may have decided, I'm not going to hang out with people who are smoking or doing things, or I'm not going to go to places where that would be easily and, get me into that situation. And Spirit says that's good. But I'm also hearing from Spirit, especially if this is a substance, you might do well to go to some kind of AA meetings, some kind of group therapy, maybe even therapy in general. But, when you go to AA, it's more like how do I want to say, peer ran, like people who are also dealing with those issues are in there, and they're free, those meetings, and they're all over the world. So online, even some of them have affinity groups. So Spirit is saying here, group number 3, you may need to step that up a little bit more, like continuous support for yourself and not try to do it all on your own. Okay. Let's talk about your liberation, because really all of this is in service of your liberation. Many of you have broken free of this substance, but Spirit says, play the long game, make sure you're getting support from a lot of different places. Yes. And bring, focus on loving yourself for real. Like focus on cultivating that love of self, so that you don't get thrown off your path. When you love yourself intensely, you're not going to let yourself fall into that ditch again, and that's what Spirit is saying. Like, to maintain the liberation, make sure you're around people who lift you up, people who want to see you succeed in life. And for some of you, if it had to do with a substance, you need to like reconnect with friends that you may have isolated yourself from. What else, Spirit, about the liberation? Because Spirit is saying you're doing really good work here. It's very hard for people to break away from substance. Interesting. Group number 2 got this card. Your ancestors are doing a lot of work behind the scenes to help you. You've got the tree, balance. Your ancestors are doing a lot to help you. You've got some family that really love you. I'm hearing family too. So, I mean, ancestors, people who've crossed over, but you also got family. Maybe there's a person in your family that really wants to see you succeed. Really, yeah. So funny. Grandmother. If your grandma's alive, she's looking out for you. If she's on the other side, she's looking out for you. Okay. Yeah. That energy loves you so much. Group number 3, last few cards. What is it that you need to do to just maintain freedom from these zombies? Because this zombie had a chokehold, okay? You got 1616 readjustments. It says here, overcoming obstacles, soulmates, romance, affection, support, and comfort. Your level of self-control is sufficient to make things right. Because so Spirit is saying here, and keeps saying, you're on the right path. You have been doing the hardest part of it is over. The next phase of it is maintaining. For some of you, if it's a sober issue, maintaining your sobriety. If it's a person that was very sticky in their energy, maintaining distance, being very clear about what you want in life. And this card says you may meet someone right after you've completed detangling yourself from this zombie, because 1616 also is talking about calling in a new partner Maybe for some of you, if this was a substance issue, we're calling in new things that can help you take care of yourself, help you take care of your stress, your anxiety. It could be therapy, could be going to group therapy. Some of you would do really good going to like a group therapy situation. Others of you, it's art or something else that can provide you with meaning, could help you with stress. So, group number 3, make sure you put 1616 in the comments if this has been you. This zombie was your struggle for a while, and now you're over it. You did the readjustments that you needed to do. Okay. So, group number 3. So happy you joined me for this reading because I think Spirit really wanted to affirm you, let you know you're on the right track, that this zombie is gone, but make sure that you're building up all of the support around you to keep this zombie away. So, group number 3, if you resonated with your reading, could you give it a thumbs up? I'm starting a membership channel where we're going to have some very exclusive readings for members. So, if you're up for it, join that. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to stay connected, you like the way that I read, I really would appreciate your subscribe. Other than that, don't forget your 1616 in the comments. And my honeys, I will see you in my next Halloween themed reading. Let me know how this worked out for you all. I love you all so much. Take care.